of India. He's also a prolific writer and translator. He's the co-author of the widely used textbook Introduction to Indian Knowledge Systems. We are delighted to have him with us today. I request Dr. Sridhar to give the presentation with a sample.
India's ancient wisdom, covering diverse fields such as science, art, medicine, architecture, philosophy, and education. This platform will help us rediscover our roots and appreciate the relevance of IKS in today's world. I extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guest, speaker, Dr. Vinayak Bhat. Please have a big round for Vinayak Bhat. Faculty members, let us engage, learn, and be inspired by the depth. I started this journey, sir, from last 1 year. And still, I feel I have done only 1%. Still 99% is pending, sir, and I think something will be filled today. Please welcome Vinayak Bhat. Thank you. Thank you for the session, sir.
With a decade of experience in teaching and research, Dr. Bhat holds a PhD from Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthan, Sringeri, and has trained under renowned scholars like late Professor R. Devanathan and Professor B. Mahadevan. His areas of expertise include Vyakarana, Arthashastra, Ayurveda, exactly.
To understand our culture and how to take this culture forward. Okay. Shanti is boring. Om Shanti, 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 till then is fine. That Shanti is different, not here.
The progress of Indian knowledge system from the start, from the scratch, to the level it has reached now. Okay. What are the changes in that? Number of
journey of Indian knowledge system. So that is the question. That is what Sir is expecting from this
so
lecture.
That, those who don't know anything, where to start from?
Okay, where to start from? Okay. Anything else?
The hunt for technology, are we forgetting our cultural and traditional roots?
Okay. So, yes.
Yeah, so my main question is already, like, since childhood it has been happening in my mind. And in all the countries like US,
Please sit.
UK, in Arabic countries, China as well, they have their own knowledge system and their own cultural system to adapt in the education. But India, I've been finding, like, we are studying about the European, German people. We don't know about our own culture, like Prithviraj Chauhan and many other, like Shivaji. We never studied about all these things in our education system. So this is the main remark. We are not getting that culture. We are not in that process of doing it, and that is how we are lacking. So I think so. Education system is the main thing we need to change before how that can be developed.
Correct. Okay. So, okay, I think I have enough for some 5 days lecture. That many questions I got now. But I know you all have some questions in your mind. And sometimes what happens, if I ask some questions, what if the nearby person will laugh on me? If it's a silly question, because IKS is such a big thing, that's how it is presented. It is a big thing, but see, we all are teachers and we all know that there is no silly questions. Though it's something which is not presented by Newton himself, but it is said that when that apple fell down, Newton asked the question why this apple fell down. This is some story which is created, but still let's take this story. If the Newton would have thought that this question is silly, why apple fell down, if I ask this question to somebody, they will laugh at me, we would not have this concept called gravity. Okay? Though this concept is old concept, but for example purpose, that there is no question which is silly. Maybe your question which you are asking might lead me to think and bring answers later. I am not the expert. As I mentioned, I am not the expert of Indian knowledge system. There are many questions which we are still trying to answer for ourselves. Sometimes we are learning from these type of discussions. There are a lot of things. So I keep on saying in my university, when they ask me in the appraisal, you have appraisal? In appraisal, they ask me, how many FDPs you have attended? I say, some 20 to 30 FDPs per year I am attending. I go as a resource person to all the FDPs, and there actually I learn a lot from the participants. I have learnt a lot from the participants because the questions and answers which I get, sometimes they are very new to us. We may not have thought from that perspective. So we get new perspective when we discuss amongst ourselves. Okay, fine. So what is knowledge? What is knowledge? Information.
For example, if a student he will get information from YouTube and all. Why he is coming to college? Because knowledge, information, we will convert information to knowledge.
Okay, information. What is knowledge? S-VYASA is knowledge.
Understanding.
Understanding. Selective information. Okay. What is knowledge? Yes, somebody was.
Processed information.
Processed information. Anything else? How will you define the term called knowledge? Yes, sir.
There is one theory that has knowledge is already there inside you.
Okay.
The entire journey is about finding out the knowledge. It is not external circumstances that will actually give you the knowledge.
Okay.
That realization that you will get through yourself and your experiences is actually the knowledge.
Great. Very good answer. Yes.
Process of converting raw data into a right information.
Oh. This is what we need. From different domains, if you come up with such definitions, we can actually use it in our classrooms. What is knowledge? The knowledge is something which is converting raw data into something. Right information, okay. See, your definition was very philosophical, okay. That if we take to the student, same what I do. I take the same definition to the classroom, and sometimes students will watch, "Ye kya chal raha?" And that is something which will connect them. Okay, both definitions are correct, yes. What else?
Knowing how to use the information around us.
Knowing how to use the information, okay, I'll take that. What else? Huh? An exploration of inner self, okay, again philosophical.
Information that we grasp is knowledge.
Any information that we grasp is a knowledge, okay.
So Karthik sir actually also wanted to say something.
Yes.
Like last time when
Yes, we did, yes, I remember. Okay. So what is knowledge? It's a very difficult question to answer because there is no definition for the term called knowledge. It's very difficult to answer what is knowledge. Okay, so that is one definition which we got. Knowledge is something which always exists. Okay, so when I speak, I say that the knowledge is of two types. One is eternal knowledge, okay, which is always there, which cannot be modified, which cannot be changed, or which cannot be deleted, or which cannot be, what do you say in computer language, delete, copy pasted, or anything, whatever you want to call. Okay? That knowledge is something which is eternal. There is another knowledge, which is materialistic knowledge, which keeps on updating, okay, which keeps on changing. Like, for example, maybe few decades ago, in that periodic table, they used to say there were only 80 or 90 elements. I don't know, I am not science person, but I heard that. But gradually, so at that time, that was knowledge. People used to say, oh, this is the knowledge. We have 80 elements. But gradually, the number of elements, when they came to know, oh, there are many elements, more elements. Now it's 108? 118, okay. When I was studying, it was 108, I guess. So now it's 118 or 138, whatever. So it's keeping on, the knowledge is being modified, it's changing. Earlier we had Jyotisha as astronomy, now we have astronomy as astronomy. Okay? We have technology, very highly developed technology. So maybe that Jyotisha might not be useful now because we have highly developed technology now. Okay? So knowledge keeps on modifying. The materialistic knowledge or the knowledge which is there in this world keeps on changing because we are thriving to find out that eternal knowledge. We are trying to reach that eternal knowledge, for which we have different methods of doing. Maybe some Western method, some methods which are coming from North or China side, or we can say some methods are coming from Islams, some methods are coming from Greeks, some methods are getting generated in India. Okay? So there are different methods of reaching that knowledge, trying to understand the eternal knowledge. To reach that eternal knowledge, we have some minute knowledge here and there, which are, when we join all those knowledge, we reach to that eternal level of knowledge. For example, health is one aspect, social science is another aspect, or maybe you are trying to understand the planets is another aspect. So these are the different types of knowledge. Let us take health because I am very fond of that. So how you see the health? How we see the health? Okay, there are now, if we ask an allopathic doctor, he will say, how you see the body? Okay, the allopathic doctor will say, body is made up of elements, different elements. There is phosphorus, sulfur, calcium, whatever, different iron. So different types of elements you have in your body, which makes the body. What will Ayurvedic experts say? It is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas. This is our way of looking into the body. That's the allopathic way of looking into the body. So different way of looking into to explain what is body. Okay? That's one way. That's why we say, knowledge systems. We have Indian knowledge system, Greek knowledge system, Western knowledge system. Why these knowledge systems differ? Reason is the way you see the thing. There's a big elephant in front of you. We are keeping a big elephant and there are 4 blind people. Okay? The big elephant, let's take this big elephant as body. Okay? Now, one blind person is coming and holding the leg of the elephant and saying that, oh, the body looks like a pillar. Another person will come and hold its tail and will say, the body looks like a snake. Another person will hold his stomach and say, the body looks like a wall, the big wall. That's the reason why the knowledge never changes, the main knowledge never changes, but the way of looking into that knowledge, the way of presenting the knowledge, the way of establishing the knowledge is different. Now why Indian knowledge system? If knowledge is on whatever system we are adopting, that's fine. Why should we go back to Indian knowledge system, which is old, ancient? Kya karna hai, wo purana knowledge like. Why do we need Indian knowledge system? Huh? We are in India, okay. We can connect easily, okay. This is our route, okay. Very philosophical answers.
That which makes us
That
unique.
which makes us unique, okay. Anything else? Huh?
A right blend of culture and knowledge.
Right blend. Do you say Westerns never had this right blend of culture and knowledge? Chinese, they don't have right blend of culture and knowledge? Something, why Indian knowledge system? We have so many knowledge systems, we can adopt one thing. Western, we have already adopted, let's go with that. Let's go with the flow. World keeps changing. That's the nature of the world. So whatever knowledge is coming from West, let's adopt it. Why Indian knowledge system?
Perspective.
Perspective?
It could be better. We can compare it.
Can give me example? Yes, it would be better if you can give example, because when we go to the students, now that's what I heard from sir, that we are going to introduce Indian knowledge system in your, this campus, either through integrating it through subjects or as a separate one subject. So student will ask this question, why Indian knowledge system? Now you have to answer me, why?
It's science.
Science is old, madam. We have new technologies, highly developed technology. We don't need science.
Science, it is not like it.
No, I am sitting as a student now, okay? I will keep questioning you. Science, astronomy, the ancient astronomical instruments are of no use today. You cannot, we have highly developed telescopes now. We can see the planets very closely. So why do we need all these things? Ancient technology is not required. Mathematics is highly developed now. The ancient mathematics is not required to calculate these things.
No, like if we speak about Vedic mathematics, still now many research which has been done, and even today, like the procedures, whatever it is used in the modern mathematics, and when we go back to our Vedic mathematics, it cannot beat that, because the formulas or whatever it is has been written. So even today it is applicable, whatever the world may change, that the new things, whatever it is coming out. So all the fundamentals or the basics, it is there in IKS.
Okay.
And even we speak about the technology, as you told, like a telescope, which is having like the various features, functions and all. So it is already there during the time of Mahabharata, where actually even today, like we can see in the temple of Halebeedu, which is engraved like Sanjaya, who is telling what is happening in Mahabharata, that Yuddha to Dhritarashtra. So there we can see that telescope kind of a instrument which has been engraved there. So that means the concept which was already there.
One thing which I will tell you, as a student, if I stand as a student here, I will say this is, anybody can create anything. In the text, you have to prove where is there in the textbooks. We need pramana. That's very difficult question which we will have to face. When we go to the student, they will ask for pramana. It's not our age, they are not our age students who, acha pitaji ne keh diya, oh parents said, okay. Ji. No, they will question us, because the different civilizations have, or different culture have so much of influence on them that these questions will come. We are not saying our tradition was not that powerful. It was very powerful. Without telescope, if we can visualize those planets and give those mathematical calculations, imagine how powerful the thought process or the science would have been. But then, regarding this telescope, just by seeing one temple architecture or sculpture, we cannot tell the students that we had telescope during that time. Because no Indian astronomy text which we find now, which is available now, speak about telescope. So unless we show them, see, this is the statement which is given, it will not be helpful. So why Indian knowledge system? How will you prove it? How will you take to the students? Why Indian knowledge system?
My perspective, I want to
Please, sir.
Indian knowledge system, as we know, the medical science or research, the development they have, it's nearly, I feel, 1% only, might be less than that. Present scenario, researchers are finding it difficult to answer many questions which they feel is available in our Indian knowledge system or darshans given by our Indian philosophers, and that's the reason why they are going back to Indian knowledge system.
Okay. So maybe, are you trying to say that for the questions which are not answered, which they are unable to answer, for that they are trying to go back to Indian knowledge
They
system?
feel it is that.
Sir, I am asking question, if student asks you why Indian knowledge system, how will you answer?
That's my one perspective is I can tell few questions are still answered in the modern era, for which researchers and scientists also going towards it.
Example, sir.
Sir, this artificial intelligence, that's
Huh.
best example these days. People feel that artificial intelligence is an invention of new era, which I don't feel it is, because long before it's mentioned in Jain philosophy and Sarvat philosophy.
About artificial intelligence?
About this AI, in the sense like, no, Chetna and body.
Okay.
Chetna cannot rule body, body cannot, no, it's not a cause of Chetna, like consciousness. But at that time they told that the body can think, body can think, which was, people would have laughed at that time, but it is happening these days. Thinking power is there in the materialistic things.
Okay, so sir is trying to say, sir, it's very difficult, it's very,
It is mentioned, sir, I have heard.
no, that's true, it might have been mentioned, but it's very problem if you take this to the students. It's not that easy.
Higher level.
Yes, it is like, some people I have seen, once that Indian knowledge system hype has been started now, it has become a buzzword, and government is asking every faculty to integrate it in their course, curriculum, something. So what is happening, you know, when faculty is going, they are saying Pushpaka Vimana is our modern aeroplane. Please don't do this. Student will start saying that, no, Indian knowledge system is bogus, we don't want it. We have to be very, very careful while taking Indian knowledge systems to the students. What you see, this Pushpaka Vimana, they say that it's a modern aeroplane. See, Mahabharata and Ramayana are two itihasa kavyas, poetry, itihasa poetry. Just let me take one good novel, any novel, okay? Just assume that I am writing a novel. Keeping the present scenario in the mind, lot of things will be present day related. But suddenly I will be writing one chapter in the novel which is speaking about something which is beyond this world. I am saying this hero of the novel is sitting on a spaceship and I am creating something very unique spaceship which is taking this individual to Neptune. After 200 years, though this novel is speaking a lot about the present day situations, present day politics, present day society, lots, but it's also speaking about a spaceship which is taking the human to the Neptune in 2025. After 200 or 300 years, if this book is referred in the university, can the faculty of the university say that in 2025 there was a spaceship which took the humans to Neptune? Ramayana and Mahabharata are itihasa texts, not science textbook, not a book of technology. But in case if someday there was someone who found a manuscript, the old ancient manuscript, while digging something, and in that manuscript if there is a mention of some technology, it's a technology manuscript, and there is a way in which the construction of that type of Vimana, if it is mentioned, then we can say, but till then we have to wait. Till then we cannot say Pushpaka Vimana is a modern aeroplane. If that happens, we have to face the lot of consequences with especially with related to IKS. So IKS is not saying this Pushpaka Vimana is modern aeroplane. It is not about saying that we had a concept of test tube babies. In Mahabharata they say no, that this Kauravas were born in a specific method. If Ayurveda speaks about the same concept, then we can agree. Because Ayurveda is a text meant for that. Mahabharata is not the text to explain that these things happen. Mahabharata is like, Mahabharata's main goal of itihasas are dharmartha kama mokshanam upadesha samanvitam. The aim is to explain dharma, artha, kama and moksha. That's all. We have to see Mahabharata and Ramayana with these two lenses. With this lens. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha lens. Not with the lens of technology, not with the lens of science. When we do that, it will destroy the core of Indian knowledge system. That's first thing which we have to understand. And it's not that there was in that Mahabharata Ramayana serial, when the war used to happen, the two banas used to come and dush. So we used to say that there was atom bomb and Agni Astra is called atom bomb or Brahmastra is called atom bomb. No, there was nothing such. There might have been another type of Astra. For that we have to read some text which is related to Astra, not Mahabharata. So this is something which we have to understand what Indian knowledge system is and what Indian knowledge system is not. So why Indian knowledge system? First answer is because it's a knowledge. The first answer which we tell is, why Indian knowledge system? Because it's a knowledge. Can we say no to knowledge? Nobody can say no to knowledge. Even if, arey yaar, kisko chahiye? But outside they will say, yes, we want knowledge. So knowledge is important. So why Indian knowledge system? First answer is to gain knowledge. Another thing is identity. We keep on saying, no, identity crisis. There is something which is highly, these days they are speaking that people have this issue about identity crisis. Indian knowledge system gives identity to us. Let me say Indian knowledge tradition instead of going with the term called systems. We actually don't like the term called system. We prefer with going with the term called Indian knowledge tradition, because system is something which is bound to something. You are what do you say? You are putting that thing into jail and locking it. Tradition is open. So when an oral tradition, the practices which are happening around us, everything is like the knowledge tradition which are in practice. Okay. So when we say Indian, one is why Indian knowledge system is for knowledge. So knowledge is important. Second one is identity. When we go outside, so I heard some story, whether story is real or not, or some instance, whether it's real or not, I don't know. But somebody was speaking that there was a huge conference, something was happening, some religious conference or something. From different places, different people went. So everyone was asked, what is the speciality of your country? So someone said, my speciality of my country is the religious text called Quran. Speciality of my religious text is this. An Indian went. So question was asked, what is the speciality of your country? Bhagavad Gita. What is there in Bhagavad Gita? वो नहीं पता. Bhagavad Gita, that's all. क्या है Bhagavad Gita? What is there in Bhagavad Gita? I don't know. This is not the identity. Identity means you should know at least what does Bhagavad Gita speaks about. Any one text if we know, or any one tradition, Indian tradition if we know, that is enough to establish the gaurava of our existence in this country. So that's one thing why Indian knowledge system is important, because this knowledge system got derived here in this country. And I will give you one example which will make it more clear. In Ayurveda they say that in cold regions the food gets digested very, very soon, fast. So you might have experienced that in cold season we get hungry fast. Even after eating a heavy lunch, heavy breakfast in the morning, 11 o'clock, we start getting hungry again. Huh? True, no? Yes, I have also experienced. So in cold seasons, it happens. So there are two types of food. In Ayurveda, they mention two types of food. One Guru Ahara, one Laghu Ahara. Guru Ahara, the Ahara which takes time to digest. Another Laghu means which gets digested very soon. Guru Ahara like Maida and all. The Laghu Ahara is Ganji, the Khichdi, Ganji. Okay, that's Laghu Ahara. In cold regions like England, those areas, the western, most of the western countries and even northern countries like Russia and all. So there the weather is almost most of the time of the year they are in cold. So the food which they prefer, like Maida related foods like pizza, burger, whatever, okay, that is, they can digest it very easily. But in India, some places they can digest, but some places they cannot. So it becomes difficult for us to adopt the same food system here and to survive with that food system. Now, when they create something knowledge, they see what is happening around them. When any knowledge system is explained or understood or researched, they actually see the area around them. Desha, Kala and Prakriti plays a very major role. Desha, in which Desha you are living, what is the time or what is the Rutu, season, and what is the time or Desha, Kala and Prakriti, what is the nature of the individuals there. So that's very important when you speak about a knowledge. These three things come into picture. So being an Indian, we are in Indian, so most of the knowledge system which got derived here are meant for Indians. So that's another reason, practical reason why Indian knowledge system. We need Indian knowledge system because we are in this land and all the social texts which are written or all the medicinal texts which are written are meant for the people of India here. Luckily, good thing about India is very holistic in nature. There are states which are very cold in nature. There are states where there is lot of rain. There are states where the warmth or it's very hot sometimes. So the texts which are written in India are meant for all these states. So luckily that helps. When we go with the Indian medicinal system, that actually helps and it becomes holistic in nature, but still there is a problem. I will tell you one problem. When I was in Tirupati, studying in Tirupati, Tirupati is a hot place where sometimes in summer season, the temperature goes up to 43 to 45 degrees Celsius. Same temperature you can find at some parts of Rajasthan also. So some students were coming to Tirupati to study there, and when they used to come, we used to warn them, please don't eat chapati here. In Tirupati, please don't eat chapati. They used to ask us, why? We used to say, the weather here is very hot in nature, so it may not be helpful to you to eat this chapati here in this part of the country. They used to say, अरे sir, क्या बोल रहे हैं आप? हम राजस्थान से आ रहे हैं, वहाँ की गर्मी आपको क्या पता? How do you know that how hot the Rajasthan is? We experience the same temperature there also. So okay, we had no answer. Sometimes experience is better than the apta vachana. We have one pramana called Shabda, where if somebody says, you have to listen. If you don't listen, you have to go with the consequences. Okay, here what used to happen? Every year this used to happen. People used to eat chapati or roti. Next day they used to bleed from their nose. We had to take them to hospitals. That is, the nature of the land differs. Though the temperature might not differ, but the nature of the land differs. So this is a point of research. If somebody from the science area want to do research, see the weather, the temperature which is being forecasted, that this is the temperature of this region and this region, both temperature, those as a temperature they might seem same, but the nature of both the land are different. Same thing happened when some of my friends are coming from North India to Bangalore. They say, Bangalore's cold is not a cold. ठीक है भैया 2 दिन रुक जाओ, to wait for 2 days. You will understand the Bangalore. Next, within 2 days they get the cold and fever. The cold of Jammu and the cold of Bangalore, though Jammu is 0 degrees Celsius, here the temperature might be less, but still it's dangerous. That's the difference. So when in India itself we have so much of diversity, how can we expect some knowledge system which is coming from outside will help us? We are not here to say that Western knowledge system is wrong or Eastern knowledge system is best, Indian knowledge system is best. No. Every knowledge system have their own benefits. But we have to remember and see, we all have the food of home, but sometimes today we will go to hotel and have some, that's fine. Hospitals will be benefiting from us, we will not be. The thing is, so what I am trying to say is, we are not saying that Western knowledge system is bad. They are very good. They are very good. They have done a lot of work, and we must take whatever is good for our purpose, not everything. But what we Indians are trying to do, we are taking some from here, totally khichdi. And khichdi is good, but this knowledge khichdi is not good. Sometimes whatever is good, let us take from them. We are not avoiding them. But for this region, this state, this country, this nature, for the different rutus here, or different social practices here, whatever is good, if we adapt that, that will be good. We all are faculty here. Okay, if somebody from West comes and becomes our Vice Chancellor to our universities and says that in our universities we work for 12 hours per day in campus. If it is applied, what will you do? That is the answer. I will resign first. If not resign, I will sit on dharna. Because it's not the social practice in India. So when that comes, we are Indians. So that's what I am trying to say. So practices there, it might suit for their nature. There they work for 12 hours per day because for 2 or 4 months they don't work. Convenience based. But here we cannot do that. That's why for India, Indian knowledge system is required. So this is one reason which we can present to our student. But because I am coming from pure Sanskrit background, I cannot give modern examples. You have to bring examples from your domains. That will help student understand it much better, how our nature, our desha, kala and prakriti actually is required. Okay. So what else? Okay, what is Indian knowledge system? Why is okay. Somehow, why there are 4 things why. One is identity. Another one, culture. To take our culture ahead. As one of our colleagues was saying that culture is important. Indian culture has been surviving for last 5,000 and more years. As per modern historians, it's 5,000 and more years. As per Shraddha or as per our tradition, it is Anadi and Ananta. Okay? It has we don't know where it started. Anyway, whatever. So that's another thing, culture. Third, received wisdom. Whatever wisdom we have received from our ancestors, use that wisdom to solve the problem of solve the modern issues or problems. Okay? Last one. Paisa. Indian knowledge system gives paisa. How? See, you might have known about this neem, patent of neem. US got the patent of neem. I don't remember the year in which they got the patent, but it's after 1947 only. That's all I know. Okay. 98, 99. Okay. They got the patent of neem. How many years we have been using neem? From the, let's leave ancient times. Your grandfather? Yes. Your great grandfather? Yes. They might have used? But what?
To use neem stems.
Yes, they used to brush the teeth using neem stems. Okay, what is the benefit of patent? I don't know. What happens if we have patent?
You have exclusive right.
So what? How does that help, sir?
So if somebody is infringing your rights, you can claim.
Can I say that now US has a patent of neem? So if in our in some paste, if we are using the extract of neem, I have to pay them? Can I say that? So that country is benefiting by our use of neem? Neem we have been using for many thousand years. Now we are paying for using neem, we are paying to US. Same thing happened with turmeric also, but luckily we fought against it and we got it. Basmati also. So there are many such herbs in Ayurvedic texts, which are 175 herbs we somehow got patent now, but there are many more. There in Sanskrit text it is said, Nasti moolam anaushadham. There is no root in this world which is not a medicine. So if we start working on that area, how many patents we will get? And how much economically, how much? We need not think of third, we can be first. What is that? First GDP? These days Modi ji keeps on saying, Hum tisri. I never understood that economics.
Sir, not only herbs, even technology.
Yes, lot of things, sir.
Because if we visit Badami Fort, the capital of Vijayanagara Empire, there we find the fetus growth in the womb.
Yes.
Scientific methods have proven that that's an innovation in scanning a pregnant woman's stomach, but it has been imprinted in Badami Fort, sir.
It's there in Ayurvedic text also, so I can agree with this.
Very detailed.
Yes, very detailed discussion in Ayurvedic text, so I can agree with this. But if it's only sculpture, then I would not have agreed.
Yes.
But it's there in Ayurvedic text. Detailed discussion has happened how the fetus grow into a child. In Ayurvedic text.
Cannot draw ultrasonic machines for that. That is not something
that is not there.
But the detailed description of
Yes.
it, you should definitely.
Maybe that because of that detailed description, they could put it into a sculpture. Imagine that this might have this thing is happening in the womb of mother. Okay. So in that way also we can take. And finally we have our philosophies. Philosophy or darshanas are of another level. See, we don't have anything called psychology. We don't have anything called management. In Indian knowledge system textbooks, we don't have anything specific called management. Because it was meant that every individual must know management. Every individual must be thorough in psychology. Because Bhagavad Gita speaks about psychology, it speaks about management, it speaks about food. Bhagavad Gita is not a religious text. We have to convey this to the students. What is happening? Yes, it can be seen as Adhyatma text, not religious text. Religion is different from spirituality. Religion is different from spirituality. It's a spiritual text. Yes, you can take the lens of spirituality and read Bhagavad Gita. Everything you will find is spiritual. If you take the lens of psychology, everything will be psychology there. See, the Arjuna is in a depression now. He was like trembling, he was scared, his bow was falling down. What happens when student writes the exam? When he enters into the exam hall, Lekhani sramsate hasta tvakchaiva paridahyate. Your body gets what? That's what happened when sir was speaking about me and I was standing in front of you. I was like trembling. I was sweating. My body was getting very warm. It happens, no? Suddenly when you have to speak some new audience in front of you, everything. It's like the situation of Arjuna. But luckily our situation is something different from Arjuna. Arjuna was highly depressed at that time. And Krishna was the counselor. So if we see with that, otherwise Bhagavad Gita gets over in only 2 shlokas. Klaibyam masmagam apartha naitattvaya upapadyate kshudram hrudaya daurbalyam tektottishta parantapa. This is the only shloka which is required. Get up, go and fight, you madman. That's the only shloka. Bhagavad Gita is over. The whole of the Bhagavad Gita is about management psychology. It's not rituals. There's no ritual mentioned. Do this, do that, do nothing. So when we are presenting these subjects to our students, we have to ensure that these subjects are not religious subjects. These are something which is connected to their subject. Now, what is not IKS? IKS is not a subject. This is a big myth which is spread that IKS is subject. One can be the expert of IKS. As I have mentioned, nobody can be the expert of IKS. Indian knowledge system, we are not speaking about chemistry, we are not speaking about biology, we are not speaking about political science, we are speaking about Indian knowledge system, big umbrella. In that, there is a physics, there is chemistry, medicine, architecture, astronomy, many subjects come under this umbrella. Can you say one can be the expert of Indian knowledge system? We can never say that one can be the expert of Indian knowledge system or Indian knowledge traditions. And people see the people like us as the expert of IKS. Because I have studied Sanskrit, I know Sanskrit, that means he is Sanskrit person. The way they see us is like they are going to kill us. He is a Sanskrit person, he knows IKS, he is the culprit. This Sanskrit is a language. Like English is, the person who is expert of English literature, can he teach physics? Why? He knows English, no? Physics is written in English. Physics is written in English. Means whatever textbooks we get, those are in English, no? So the English literature expert who has completed PhD in English, anybody from English language here? Can you teach physics and chemistry, please? Why? You know English. Exactly. English, similar, same thing is happening with us. Pavam we. People are killing us. You know Sanskrit. Come, do research in chemistry. You know Sanskrit, do research in physics. How can we do that? That's not our area. So what needs to be done is, the person who is studying physics, they should study a bit of Sanskrit and then do the research, or get connected with some Sanskrit people and do the research. Don't ask Sanskrit people to do these type of research. This is what exactly happening in most of the universities. They are troubling Sanskrit people. They are like putting one big rope inside on our kantha, on our neck, and pulling us to these type of researches. It's very difficult for us. It's not possible for us. Okay, we can say, this is there in this text, but if you ask us to do research, we cannot do. We are not. So that's the another myth, that Sanskrit people know everything what is there in Sanskrit. No, Sanskrit is a huge area. Maybe I am from Vyakarana, so I can speak about linguistics a bit. Now my interest is in Arthashastra, so for last 7 years I have been working in political science area, so I can speak a bit about political science. Other than that, nothing, zero. So IKS is not a subject. Sanskrit people are not the experts of IKS. These two myths. Kinchit adhitavan hote. This is, sir is saying, you are speaking about Ayurveda. This is the reason why we have to study. People are asking us. Kinchit. Yep. I have been working on Ayurveda a bit. Even I have taught chemistry. Reason? University was saying, hey, Sanskrit wala, teach chemistry. So I had to study chemistry also, sir. A bit of chemistry I have studied. So this is actually pulling us from our own areas sometimes. Anyway, that's a different story. So it's 12 o'clock. So keep questioning in between, so that we can avoid that question and answer session. If you have any question related till now, whatever we have discussed, please ask. Please feel free. Because if you ask me, can I finish my session? I cannot. 1.5 hours are not enough to finish whatever I want to discuss. It needs 2 or 3 days time. So 1.5 hours, whatever we can discuss, let us discuss. If there are any questions, please ask, or I will continue with another. Yes, sir.
Namaskar, sir. This is Nirmal this side. I have some interest towards history. So, like a lot of things, just like we put prove this Aryan invasion theory wrong. A lot of Harappan sites, like one example I can give is Rakhigari. Some sites have been found. A lot of evidences are there. Even similar story goes for Ram Setu or the sunken city of Lanka.
Correct.
Thing is that maybe ASI, I don't know who's responsible for that, but there's not enough research being done on this area. So I feel like a lot of knowledge is there, it is lost because we can't prove there are no evidences. So like how do we go? Like what's your take on this part? Just wanted to know. It's curiosity.
One is, see, with existing knowledge, what Professor B. Mahadevan says, either you leave it, जो है हो गया ठीक है, leave it, or let's take that knowledge and build new knowledge based on that. So as a student of history or as a professor of history, maybe you can take this as a project that my focus will only be on this because there's no one to work on this. So you can take this as, see, we have to take some, every day, every now and then university or UGC will keep on asking what unique thing you are doing. Maybe this can be a unique thing for you because you know the problem. You can take that problem and lead this ahead.
I come from management background. This is just my area of interest.
That's okay. See, I am coming from Sanskrit background. I am teaching Astha Shastra, sir. That's what I am saying. Doesn't matter which background you are coming from. If you have interest, you can develop on that interest. We can do that. We can do that.
So my question is
Yes.
the Gurukul system.
Gurukula system. So what was your question about?
Why did it exist in the first place and why does it not exist now? Is it due to the westernization or could there be some other reason?
I am not saying it's not existing. Maybe the form has been changed now. Gurukula system is there. Pedagogy, yeah, I can say the education system might have changed a bit. Gurukula system is still there. What is Gurukula system? What do you understand from the term Gurukula system? Let me understand that. Then I will say whether it has changed or not.
Okay. Gurukula system, I think that there is a lot of information or training that is given other than whatever that goes with the curriculum. There are some cultural roots we follow, like some time management. Let us say we get up at 4:30, we do a little bit of sadhana, then it could be the Rangamali in front of all of that. So that is taught during the Gurukula system. And it is also taught that knowledge doesn't come easy. So knowledge is not commercial. You don't just pay the fees and get knowledge. That was not Gurukula system. Gurukula system taught that everything comes with hard work. You do some work, then only I see if you are fit to be my student, I take you in, I teach you something. So that is how it is.
If that is your understanding, that partially it is surviving and partially it has been lost. So partially it has been surviving means the hard work part is still there. We teachers are doing hard work and we are making our students do the hard work. It's still there. Do you see in S-VYASA, students are not doing hard work?
We see them doing hard work.
You're seeing that? Then Gurukula structure is surviving. Okay, do you have hostels here?
Yes, sir.
So how do you manage? Is there any activities which are happening in hostel?
I am unsure about
Anybody who knows about hostel here?
no, nothing.
Huh? No extra activities in hostel? Okay.
I'm sure there must be many extracurricular activities.
Or they might be doing?
Yeah, they might be doing a lot of it.
Yes.
I don't think students can ever sit.
They cannot
They've been
sit
in
idle.
hostels, so they know what hostels are.
Yes, that's it. In hostel, something will be going on. They will have their own way. So a slight change will be there, but it's still there. And Gurukula, what is Gurukula system? Gurukula means you are staying with your guru. Okay, that maybe in few parts of India it is still surviving. Like residential education system is still there. So there you might say Gurukula is surviving. But there is one part which totally I forgot. That part has been totally lost now. What was that? What she?
Format or content.
Format and content and all is lost now.
That is the only thing which is.
Yes. Pedagogy is lost. See, Indian pedagogy, there were many different types of pedagogy which was the part of Indian education. Question and answer pedagogy. Mahabhashya was taught in the Mahabhashya is a linguistic text. Please sit. It was dealt in question and answer manner. There were a lot of discussion manner. Means students were not like sitting and listening to the teacher. There was a lot of discussion going on. There was vada vivada. No, I don't agree with you, sir. This is what I say. If you read Mahabhashya, there's a commentary of Panini's Ashtadhyayi. If you see that text, you will find that there is a lot of discussion going on, vada vivada going on. The student is not ready to agree what teacher is saying. And finally, teacher is agreeing with the student. It's also happening in that text. So that is what one of the pedagogy. In political science, you will find 2 or 3 such texts where you will find unique pedagogy. Have you heard about the text called Panchatantra? What is that? Storybook. It's not a storybook. It's the textbook written for 3 sons of a king. The king's sons were so naughty and so out of the, what do you say, I don't get the English words. Bigde hue bacche, halada maklu. They were like that. But because they didn't give proper education or something, then Vishnu Sharma comes and says, I will teach them. And the pedagogy he used were story-based pedagogy. And whole text is about political science. If you read that original text or at least original translation of that original text, then you will find out how much political science is there, how much management, governance is embedded into it in that book. It's something very unique thing. So that pedagogy was there. So it's another pedagogy which we see. And then activity-based pedagogy you can see in astronomy texts. They take them to the ground, ask them to put one big shanku, and based on that deciding how the sun's movement. So all these pedagogies we can find. There are many unique pedagogies which we find in ancient Gurukula system, which some pedagogy might have changed now, but they still exist. Some have lost. What main thing which we lost is the core of Indian knowledge in the system is lost. We are not teaching Indian thing to Indian students. That part has lost in the curriculum. Shraddha part is lost. And there are 8 buddhi gunaha: Shushrusha, Shravana, Grahana, Dharana, Vijnana, Uha, Apoha, Tattvabhinivesha. These are the levels. We are following that Bloom's taxonomy. Instead of Bloom's taxonomy, we can use this taxonomy. Shushrusha, the first aspect which we must expect from the student is to interest on listening. Shushrusha means interest of listening. Second level, Shravana, is to listen. Interest hai, theek hai, main nahi sununga. I will not listen. There are students who come to the classroom with the interest, but then they are not ready to listen. So second level is to listen. Then Grahana. Grahana means understand. Fourth level is Dharana. Dharana means whatever is understood, store it. We keep saying that we are rote learners. We are not rote learners. Grahana, then Dharana. And dharana is so important. Now the psychologists have been started saying that rote learning is also important. So if we call ourselves rote learners, no problem. That's also important because it builds the brain. It really helps a lot. We, as students of Sanskrit, we understand this. Whatever our guru made us do when we were studying, it's helping us a lot now. That's grahana dharana. Then vijnana. Once you have hold everything which is taught, now you start analyzing the thing. Now you start having the peer learning and reading more texts to understand the same concept. Then going for uha. Uha means why? Questioning. Why? Why this is like this? Why not like this? I am not accepting this. So you are working on that. Then apoha, getting answer of that. Then final siddhanta, tattvabhinivesha. This is the level. We don't need Bloom's taxonomy, Gibbs taxonomy. We have our own taxonomy. Only the thing is we are not practicing it. Anubandha Chatushtaya is also not there. Sir, you will be speaking about Anubandha Chatushtaya? So I will not touch that.
Oh, no, please continue.
No, I
will
have.
not touch.
You will not touch?
No, if you want to.
No, I will not touch. Time is. So you touch it, sir. So Anubandha Chatushtaya will get from there. Okay. So, okay, there are many different methodologies to make the learning interesting and make learning happen properly in a sequence or in a proper way. But the problem is we are not adopting that. We are adopting which is coming from West. I am not saying that is wrong, but जब आपके पास अपना खुद का है, when you have your own, why should we go with the something which is borrowed from others? If you have something, yeah, I accept. If something which you don't have, no, we don't have this thing, it's fine to take from others. We are not against. We have chai patti at home. We have the tea powder. We have milk. We have this elakki, cardamom, everything we have, but we don't have sugar. Don't say that I don't use sugar in my tea. This is for example. So you say we want sugar. So what will you do? Either we will go to the shop and purchase it, or we need only 2 spoons of sugar. Anyhow, evening we will be going to shop and we will purchase it. So for urgent purpose, we will go to our neighbor and get 2 spoons of sugar. It's perfectly fine. But you have everything now. You have sugar, you have tea, you have everything. But your tea powder is maybe the 3 roses. So will you go to the neighbor's house to get Taj tea powder? No, we have our own tea powder. Why should we go and get tea powder from our neighbor's house? But we Indians have been doing that for long now. We have most of the things we had, but for those things which we had, we are going to our neighboring countries and borrowing that and using it. So why Indian knowledge system? Whatever we have, let's use it. I am not saying we have everything. There is another myth that we have solution for all the problems of life. No, we don't have. Let's be practical. There is a WhatsApp University message which keeps on saying, Indians have answer for all the problems in their text. No, Baba, we don't have it. Let's agree it. Let's be practical. Let's agree Indian knowledge system is also not complete system. Some aspects we might have to borrow from other civilizations or other cultures. Let's take it. Let's fine. If it's good, let's take. If it's bad, let's leave it. That's also we have to have that consciousness that if it is bad, we must leave it. Another thing, one of the myths about Indian knowledge system which is spread throughout is Indian knowledge system is Sanskrit. Tamil, it's not Indian? Anybody from Tamil Nadu? Yes. Tamil is Indian or not? It's in India, so it's Indian? Okay. Malayala, Indian? Hindi, Indian? So languages are Indian. Okay. Now what is happening, let me tell you. I am Sanskritwala. So I will keep going throughout India with the examples of Sanskrit texts. So what people will feel? Indian knowledge system is in? Culprit is here, sir. I am the culprit because I am going with the examples in Sanskrit because I don't know Tamil. Tamil literature is such a huge literature. If you really open the books, I started reading the books now. Because the reason also I will tell you, those who are here from Sanskrit, here from Tamil language, okay. Now I am trying to show finger, I am showing that you people are doing wrong to the civilization and country, huh? Just few minutes back I was telling Sridhar sir, I was telling him also. Recently I went to Coimbatore. Same, means my topic was Arthashastra. I asked there, do you know Tirukkural? They said, yes, we know Tirukkural. Some said, only few people said, yes, sir, half hand up, yes, we know Tirukkural. Do you know there is something in Tirukkural about political science? Nobody. One person raised the hand, I know, sir. One. What I experienced, okay? It's not some. We are not the people to blame that only Sanskrit, IKS is only in Sanskrit. Because whole India is saying IKS only in Sanskrit because only Sanskrit people are traveling. We want Tamil, Kannada, Telugu people to travel and show India that this is Indian language system, Indian knowledge systems, which is not happening. So what I started doing, I felt whether really something is there in Tamil. So for last 15 days I am reading Tirukkural. Not in Tamil, I am sorry, I don't know Tamil, but at least I am trying to read it in English and I found such, sir, Tirukkural is amazing. Yeah, he is doing. It's amazing, Tirukkural. Management, so much of management is there in that text, so much of political science in that text. Only this dharma and all is this common concept. Throughout India, we say, no, dharma is only for Sanskrit peoples. No, dharma is discussed in Tirukkural. In detail, the 10 dharma lakshana which we say is coming from Manusmriti, all 10 he is discussing. Dedicated chapters for each dharma. Beautiful. So, and in Kannada we have huge literature for, so there is one text, I don't know how, this text was written by Jain Muni, Siribhu Valaya. It's a text called Siribhu Valaya. There are 6 lakh verses in this text, okay, 6 lakh verses, it's in Kannada, but the script which is used is numeric, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6 lakh verses are written. This is about some 8, so they say it's somewhere between 8th to 12th century CE. This text was written. Now another myth. IKS is written by Hindus. Now what is Hindu? What is Hindu? Okay, way of life. Somebody said it's a religion. Okay, religion. Practice. Sanatana Dharma. Okay. Have you heard about the word Sindhu? In Persian, the letter Sa is pronounced as Ha. So the word Hindu came from Sindhu. Okay. So this whole country, Sindhu, this whole Sindhu civilization, whole country is called Sindhu. If you take Hindu as a landscape, then this is a myth, or this, okay, no, it's not a myth. If you take Sindhu or Hindu as a landscape or a land, okay, this whole subcontinent, then this is not a myth. Every Indian knowledge system is written by Hindus. Whoever is living here is writing the text, means it's so Indian knowledge system is written by Hindus. Okay, somebody said Hindu is religion. Okay, we'll take that as also. If you say that Indian knowledge system is written by the people of Hindu religion, then this is a myth. Jains have contributed extensively for this knowledge. Buddhas extensively for this knowledge. Okay? There are few from Islam religion also, like Kabir and all. The thoughts, if you read Kabir's thought, it's actually generated from Vedic texts. Okay? So that's also, means that contribution also you can find. So it's not mere written by Hindus if you take Hindu as a religion. If it's a landscape, every word is written by Hindus.
Kremasteller is a good example.
Huh?
Kremasteller, that architecture book on temple.
Can you explain, sir? I don't know about that.
No, that is the temple architecture,
Huh?
1920s. That
Huh?
she is an Irish who came and settled in India for 15 years.
Okay. No, I don't know about this. Okay. So, sir is mentioning another text which is written by
That is authority on temples today.
somebody from Ireland coming and writing a text in India about Indian temples. That's also Indian knowledge system. Next, IKS is written by Brahmins. Okay? Indian knowledge system, all the Indian knowledge system is written by Brahmins. Who is Valmiki? We don't know. He was a robber. That's all we get about him, some information. Okay? Who was Vyasa? Vyasa was not a Brahmin. Who is Krishna Devaraya? Kshatriya, we don't know. He is not Kshatriya, that's for sure.
Harihara and Bukka lineage, we don't know.
Okay. Who was Bhoja? He was also not a Kshatriya. Chandragupta, he was also not a Kshatriya. But okay, Chandragupta did not write any book. But Bhoja, Samarangana Sutradhara, the great text. Kalidasa, take Kalidasa. Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita we are reading. Vedas are, we say no that some people were not allowed to read Vedas. Vyasa read Veda and he actually, his name Vyasa is because of the, because he actually divided the Vedas or classified the Vedas into 4. That's why he got the name called Vyasa. We have a lot of misunderstandings which are feeded into us. Okay, so if we say Indian knowledge system is written by Brahmins, it's a mere myth. You have to understand that. Another, Indian knowledge system is written by men. It's man dominated, men. If you see Vedas, there are 25 Rishikas who have seen the Vedic mantras. They have contributed the 25, more than, there are many mantras seen by, but 25 Rishikas are mentioned. Devi Sukta. There are many mantras which are contributed by the women. There are 3-volume book you will get in archive which speaks about women contribution to the Sanskrit literature. 3-volume book. Okay. If you go archive.org and search, you will get that book, 3-volume book. It was written by Bhaskaracharya, but name was given as Leelavati. So much of contribution is there by women also. Okay. So again, if somebody says IKS is written by Brahmins, Hindus, men, because see, sometimes because of some innovations and because of some borrowing of some cultures, we might have changed a bit. But that does not mean ancestors were same. Okay. There's one instance which one of my colleague shared with me. He says these days there is one experiment going on. I have even Googled it. I found it that one company is actually working on developing the artificial milk and artificial meat. Yes, they feel that we are actually harming the animals, we are troubling the animals. So we should not get the milk from the animals and we should not get the meat. So they are developing artificial meat and artificial milk. After 100 years or after 200 years, every individual in the society will start consuming artificial milk and artificial meat. They will go into the itihasa or history and they will see these people are drinking milk of cow, me included, okay, eating the meat of any animal, okay. What they will feel about us? What they will feel about us? Huh? These people were carnivorous, these people were so cruel. Whatever word they will start using. Cow cruel. They didn't have karuna for animals. Is that so? No. So, with today's lens, don't compare the ancient world. We must not compare 21st century with the 1st century. If we want to compare really, compare 21st century with 21st century, 16th century with 16th century. We take Western model. When we take Western model and compare 16th century with 1st century, that is wrong. Compare 1st century West and 1st century India. Give the results. We were much civilized then. They were zero. They were on a black, something they call a black era. That's what our identity is. Dark ages. They were in the dark ages. We were highly civilized. That's how India is. That's about Indian knowledge system. And Indian knowledge system is not mere spirituality. Not something which, some people say, it's full, there is no logic behind India, this is pseudoscience, there is no logic. See, if I bring a theory which says there is one small box, if I build a theory saying whatever fits in this small box is an animal, this is my theory. So the rat I can fit in that box, the rabbit I can fit in that box, elephant can I fit in that small box? So the theory is that whatever fits in this box is an animal. So elephant is not an animal. So present day, we have a box called the definition of science given by West or the framework of science given by West. So we are trying to fit our Ayurveda, our sciences into that box, which will never happen, and we can never call our subjects as science because that's are not fitting in that. That does not mean Ayurveda is not a science. Because the box given is very small, what we can do? In that box we cannot fit our science. That is the thing which we have to understand, that if somebody says it's a pseudoscience, that's because they are trying to fit that in their box. Our box was different. Maybe we'll stop here. Okay. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I don't know how many people were bored, and I tried my best.
Thank you so much, sir, Dr. Vinayak. It was such an interactive session. I'm sure
Please give it to them.
all of us
Okay.
were active throughout. It was very engaging. Thank you so much, sir, again. Let's have a round of applause. We'll break for lunch now.
Before that, sir has given 2 of the books which I am one of the authors, so to gift them. So I'd like to gift this. Sir, please come.
Please, please.
So please.
My Guru Mahadevan sir and his written will by.
So this is the addition of Indian knowledge system books in our library now. Thank you, sir. Thumbs up. We'll have a break for 1 hour. We'll send the leaders by 1:30.
More educated in Malabar. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, this was some slide I think he would have probably loved to show, but he did not show. What is IKS? What constitutes IKS? It's very important. We understand this concept because there is a lot of misconception that everything that we know, we only have oral traditions. That is not true. We have a lot of recorded traditions. Okay? The recorded tradition, there is one which is what we call the literary tradition and the oral non-literary tradition. Okay, so the literary tradition will come up with Vedas, Puranas. That is the core Sanatana Dharma and other non-core part. There is a Chaturdasha Vidyasthana. I have not brought the Chaturdasha Vidyasthana, but you can see all that. I have given 2 books of that. That is all available in the book. Please go through it in detail. The oral traditions are what I said. Turmeric latte. Example. Right? So that is the oral tradition. Take this, it will cure your cough. Most of the times it works. Right? And it works, a lot of it are tailor-made. They are for the particular family. It's been working for generations in this family because the DNA is structured that way. Another good example that we don't have today but has been done very well now, stem cell research is, I'm not saying please don't take it as stem cell research was in India. No, that's not what I'm saying. But stem cell, the use of this concept has been there. Simple example, the umbilical cord that is cut out. In a lot of homes, including in my own traditional, my grandfather was an Ayurvedic Pandit, they used to do it. Cut it out, they would burn it. There's a way to burn it. You can't just put fire to it and then do it. There's a way to very causterize it and burn it. And they would preserve the ash till that person is alive. Lot of your diseases could be just cured by taking this one for that child. Today they are doing a lot of stem cell research from umbilical cords. This is pretty much what used to happen. They knew that this will work. They did not do stem cell research and patent the whole thing, but they knew that this is a kind of thing and this is well documented in Ayurveda. Okay? So this kind of oral traditions existed very, very well. They knew how to handle it. Okay? There were problems. Not saying it was devoid of problems, but to say that, we'll import other problems by throwing away these problems will not work. Find solutions within that is probably a better approach to this. Okay? Then as I said, Buddhist and Jain texts exist. Lot of kavyas, lot of Ayurveda texts, lot of it on architecture. Okay, we don't have civil engineering students, no, here? No civil engineering faculty, no. We only have computer science people. Okay, we have computer science, medicine and psychology management. Okay, we'll stick to that topics today for now because otherwise we'll get too much to talk about. Okay. So what I want to do, this is what we have lost. I want to just show this slide, then we get into some activity. Otherwise we'll get bored. See, all of us have heard of Vedas. What are Vedas? Any idea? Anybody who can tell me what are Vedas? We'll forget this slide for a minute. That is some just representing the details. But what are Vedas? If I were to ask you a question on what are Vedas, what would you say?
Ancient philosophical texts.
Ancient?
Philosophical texts.
Philosophical text. Anybody else?
Life.
Life. What is life? What is life?
Existence. Existence, creation.
Existence, creation. Okay. Okay.
So, the very ecosystem after the creation of life on earth, and the balance between these different organisms that we live. So, how we are, how we should be, how we could have been, something like that.
Okay.
Both are correct.
Nice. Anybody else who thinks that? Anything else? What are Vedas?
Principles.
Huh? Principles. Principles of what?
Different varnas.
Huh? Varna. No, that's Varnashrama Dharma is very different. That's got nothing to do with, no, that's got nothing to do with Vedas. I can be very clear on that, yeah. So let me take a step back. Somebody said text. You said text. So what is a text? Textbook, you know, we read, there's a lot of textbooks. What is it? HR textbook. Documentation of information conveyed in the proper order. Some crude way of putting it. I'm just making it up, but yeah, that's what it will be, right? Is that what Vedas are? If you were to ask me, they are not. That is not a collection of information. Vedas are universal or cosmic sounds. How many of you have heard of one Carl Sagan? Carl Sagan. No? Nobody has heard Carl Sagan? Surprising, okay. All of you should see a series called Cosmos. He was an astrophysicist who brilliantly brought down astrophysics to very normal, dumbed down version of showcasing it. There he speaks a lot about the way Indians knew about the cosmos, understanding of the cosmos. Okay, he speaks about the Omkara, Om. How is the cosmic sound? Okay, Dr. Carl Sagan, Google him up, find out. I don't know if those series are still available or not, but you can look it up. Okay, but the point is, you see this universe exists, right? The universe, whenever you create a system, if I were to call the universe a system, I can call it, it's not a tradition, it's a system. There are rules and checks and balances of this universe, right? The earth necessarily goes around the sun. It can't be an inch away. It has to be mandated this way. All those things have to have what is called an operations manual, creation and operations manual. So to some extent she was right in saying that that is what it is. It is a creation and operations manual for everything that exists. These are cosmic sounds. These are not sounds that, you know, I can't, if I were to, I can chant a mantra, for instance, Ganana Tva Ganapatim Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Vamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanan Brahmanaspata Anashrinvan Notibisi Dasadanam. This mantra, of course we chant it in puja, rituals and all. Leave that out for a minute. Okay? But this mantra was chanted 3,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago or 100,000 years ago the same way. Exactly same way I am chanting, from 100,000 years later also it will be chanted the same way. That will not change. The sounds will not change. You can put me with 100 people doing it together. Everybody who's learned it will exactly, it will come in chorus. We might not have seen each other at all. Those are Vedic mantras. Those have been, and as they say, you don't get authors of Vedas. He said 25 Rishikas who have written, who are seen in the Vedas. All these sutras, all these things have been at higher states of conscience when they are in a deep state of meditation. These are sort of which come to them when they are in sync with the universal universe or in sync with certain aspects higher than the human states. They get to experience these mantras and then they give these mantras. That's why we don't say any rishi is an author of a mantra. Charaka, I can say Charaka Samhita was written by Charaka. That is not what I say about any rishi. We call them mantra drashtara, who saw these mantras. Or when I say saw, are limitation. What is the limitation of human beings? Any idea? What is that limiting force for human beings to gain knowledge? Huh? Adishadvargas are not knowledge, they are there for everything. We'll talk about Adishadvargas later, but that is not the limiting factor. I am talking of limiting factor. I am not talking of enemies, I am talking of not that are against, I am talking of limiting factors. No.
Once thought that they have gained all the
Huh?
Once thought that they have gained all the knowledge. I think
Ego. No. Ego is not a limitation, it's an enemy. That's what she was telling. No, Arishadvargas. No. Limitation. You want to know the limitation of human knowledge, gaining human knowledge? It is basically our 5 sense organs. Any knowledge that's outside of these 5 sense organs, can it be gained? Can we perceive it? We can't. The 5 sense organs are a limiting factor for us to understand. We can only perceive that which we can see, that which we can hear, that which we can taste, which we can feel, which we can smell. Correct? Can we perceive if there exists something that is beyond these 5 senses? Can we perceive it? We can generalize a few things. For instance, our eyesight can see only between the 300 nanometers and 800, 700, 790 nanometers or so. Beyond these bounds, we can probably put up a camera which will probably forget everything outside of this and understand that there exists something. But still it is with the same wavelength range. It is nothing. If there exists something beyond the waves and particles, right? This is a limitation. Nobody teaches us this. Indian Shastras tell us this. Understand that this is your limitation. It starts from there. You need to transcend these limitations to gain something that is beyond. In fact, Purusha Sukta says that. Padosya Vishwa Bhutani Tripadas Amritan Divi. 1/4 is known to you. Pada is not leg here. A lot of people mistake that. Pada is 1/4. 3/4. Tripada is outside of your understanding. Please understand only 1/4 is in your understanding of this universe. 3/4 of this universe is not understandable by you. Keep it that way. Understand your limitation. Act within this bounds. Okay. These Vedas, which were so very carefully understood by so many rishis and given to us on a silver platter, and said, all that you need to do is you only need to know these mantras, nothing more. 20,000 mantras are there. Please know them and know how to apply them. They didn't say use it in meditation for 100 years. They never said that. They said we have done all that work. Hard work is already done. All that we are saying is please protect them. Please take care of it. Please worship it. Don't throw away our tradition. That's all they said. Veda-vyasa further came down and said, you know what? 20,000 is also too much for you guys. In Kali Yuga, you can't understand so many things. Probably I'll break it down into 4 different parts. I'll make it probiotic for you. Chew it half. One of you take Rig Veda, one of you take Yajur Veda, some of you take Sam Veda, some of you take Atharvana Veda. Preserve only that part. 50% is Rig Veda, 10,000 mantras. Preserve that part. We are not even doing that. Yajur Veda is 4,000 mantras. Preserve that, it's okay. Until 1800 we were doing it. And doing it well. What has happened is 21 shakas, 21 ways of reciting this 10,000 mantras were available to us. 5 are remaining today. 85 are known in Krishna Yajurveda. 4. That is also dying out. Okay. 5th one we are trying to record because that person is dying. And somehow preserve it. 1,000 plus Samaveda shakas. The whole of music, Gandharva Veda, the whole of theory of music and singing comes from Samaveda. There were 1,000 plus ways of doing it. 3 of them are known today. That's where we stand. Same with Atharvana Veda. Okay? So this is where we stand with whatever we were supposed to preserve. Identity crisis. With this, if we are going to do this, can we call ourselves Bharatiyas? Radiating knowledge. We can't even preserve what was there. They're not asking you to find something new. That itself is not being able, that itself we are not able to do. So this is the status of it. Okay? Of some dire state that the knowledge system is in. That's where we need to sort of rekindle and start researching onto how to preserve, what to preserve, to know what is to be done. Alright? Motivating enough? First we need to become economically quite strong. Political strength has to come. If political strength has to come, this has to come back. Because on a high seat you may be a $50 trillion economy, but if you don't have army with you, you are nowhere. Ahimsa does not go far. Blind ahimsa does not go far. Even before I go to ahimsa. What is the meaning of the word dharma? How many can tell me the correct meaning of the word dharma? You all hear this, no? Dharma. Nan dharma idu. My dharma, I have to do this. Huh?
What I work, that's my dharma.
Work, okay. Then
What I do, that's
duty, in some sense, is duty. Okay, then huh? Ethics, morals and ethics. Okay. So morals and ethics, I'll ask you something. Somebody is putting a gun to your head. Will you tell, and you are expected to say something. Will you tell a lie at that point, or will you not tell a lie?
No, I'll not lie.
Huh?
I'll not lie.
You'll not tell a lie.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That is dharma or adharma, we'll talk about it. Okay, then.
Way of life.
Huh?
Way of life.
Way of life. Okay, then.
Karma without hurting others.
Huh?
Doing your work karma
Swadharma.
without
Something like that. She is now qualifying dharma itself as swadharma. Okay, duties, that's what he said. Then.
hurting others.
Huh? Not hurting others. Okay. Then. Yesterday I started a course. In that I had asked this question, what is dharma? And I had given some 15 definitions. That, I'll see if I have that question. Okay, let me pull that up. I think I may have that. Do we have internet here? Is internet available here?
Yes, it's available.
Okay, so somebody has to come and do it, I think. Okay, if that is there, we'll see. Otherwise, it's okay. If it's going to take time, let's leave it. Fine, leave it. That's okay. Okay, let's leave. So, dharma. How many of you attend sustainability conferences? You attend sustainability conference. What is happening in sustainability world? What is happening in the sustainability world today? Environment. More about environment, how to protect it. COP24, COP22, and ESG 96. Then what are the other buzzwords? I keep getting a lot of stuff. I keep hearing a lot of, I also get invited to a lot of places which is gone, okay. So, if it is working, yeah, let's see, okay. So, I'll show you what dharma really means. Let him do that, yeah. Done? Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. Does it come up on its own? It's detecting, okay. Okay. How many of you think dharma is a set of rituals? Dharma is a set of rituals. No? Set of do's and don'ts. Yes? Rules and codes of conduct. Yes? Confusing and vague. No, it's not confusing? Wow. Okay, good. Huh? Okay. You may want to duplicate it, is it? Yes. Okay. F8.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Will come. Duplicated. It's duplicated, no? Okay. Okay. Here we go. Nobody thinks it's confusing and vague? Another one I gave was nobody has given a good definition, but okay. Too much for me to grasp. Yes? Yes. Complicated ideas? Maybe. Okay. Beyond the perception of human beings? Yes. Yes? No, sir. No. Okay. Superstitious ideas? No, sir. It's not superstitious? No. Okay. Doing the right things? Yes. Not hurting anybody? Yes. No, sir. No? Okay. Discipline? Yes. Courage and valor? Yes. Laws of nature? Yes. Okay. Confusing and paradoxical ideas? Dogmatic? Yes? Okay, good. So let me go back. So this was my slide yesterday. Now I'll show you what dharma means. Oh, sorry. Okay, I can do this. Okay. So the word dharma comes from the root dhru. Dhru stands for dhruing dharane. Dharana. Dharana means hold. Dharati also comes from the same thing. Something that holds or sustains. The whole idea of sustainability is what is dharma. So dharma is nothing but the overarching principle of sustainability. It is not nothing, it's not religion at all. Dharma can never be translated to religion. Religion is different. It's a sub form of things. Okay? It's a universal framework. How do I say it's a universal framework? Bhishasmat vatah pavate bhishodeti suryah bhishasmat agnischendrascha mrityurdhavati panchama iti. Bhi is fear. The fear of that overarching principle that if I go wrong something will happen is what is making the earth go around the sun. Vatah pavate, the air is blowing because of that cardinal principle. Suppose there is no gravity, something changes between, if the sun, say if the earth moves 3 inches away from its current position, disaster. It's a huge disaster in the universal scheme of things. The very thing that it has to be sustained is what governs, is the governing principle called dharma, is what holds all this in its place. I'm not even talking of human beings or somebody in US, India, within India, Bangalore, Chennai. No. No such things. It is a universal principle. Not even animals. Okay? This is what is dharma. For that you need an operational framework. I can't write rules and just leave it. No, I can't write the Constitution of India and say, okay, this is what it is. I need to I should put some systems and operational framework into place. That operational framework is what is called karma. Okay? So this operational framework works. So Sanatana means eternal. It existed in some distant past, it will exist in distant future, it exists today. Eternal state of sustainability is what is dharma. Okay? Now let me show this. Okay, forget humans versus animals and all. The difference between humans and animals is basically we have free will. Animals don't have free will, they are pre-programmed. True? Okay. This is the overarching principle of dharma. Then you have some social dynamic systems where you need to earn, you need to transact. To transact, I need something which you may have, you may need something which I may have, I need to put some transactional processes in place. That is your artha. Managing resources. Who owns that resource? How does it work? Artha Shastra. Whole thing comes from there. That is for human beings because you have the free will. If you are an animal, you will fight it out. You don't have a society which exists there. Then there is a clear hierarchy. What belongs to a lion will, a dog will not go and attack what belongs to a lion. Correct? It will get hunted. That rule of dharma, that's also dharma by the way. Whereas for human beings, there is an additional free will because you have a way to do it. You can live within that frameworks. This is our ancient, this is the Sanatana Dharma thinking view. Within that you have your material desires, you fulfill all your material desires as much as you want. Nobody said don't do it. This is another myth that we have. If you are following Sanatana Dharma, you should be austere. You have heard this? You should not have excess of things. No, nobody said that. In fact, if you have heard Shanchame, Mayashchame, Priyanchame, no Kamashchame, goes on. There are 364 things. You won't even believe what are all the things we are asking for. It starts with I want life, I want a good way of breathing, my health should be good, I want money. And there is an order by the way. I want money, I just don't want money. I want money which is good, clean. Shanchame, Mayashchame, and it should be out of my own. I should have earned that money. Then after I have earned that money, I want fame. After I have got that fame, I need friends. I need good people around me. And the way it is framed is very beautiful. It doesn't say Mitrashcha. Mitra is friend, no? It doesn't say Mitrashcha. Every time I say a may, it means give me something. Mitra, it doesn't say Mitra. It says Mitra is a friend. Amitra is one who is not a friend, who is an enemy. It says Anamitranchame. Please have people around me who will never become my enemies. Look at the grand way it is framed. That framing itself should take a lot of effort. Simple thing is I could have asked for a friend and kept quiet. No, it never said that. It said I want people around me who will never become my enemies. Once you have money, that's exactly what you want. Then it says Susha Chame, I need peaceful sleep here. That is the grand scheme of things that we are asking for. Never said don't ask for money. Have that right framework, have your right frame of mind. This is our thinking. I'll tell you where all the conferences are going these days. This is how all conferences are happening. We have made this whole circle into desires and material wealth. And then we say, there is a social systemic demand, okay, which I will probably fulfill because I don't want to be seen as a bad person. Somebody should not accuse me of something. So I'll create some small system around it. Then I'll see an overarching system. Then I'll forget this. I'll see how to beat this overarching system. And within that, I'll find an intersecting area to come up and say, you know what, this is sustainability. No, that is not sustainability. Wherever I go to sustainability conferences, I show this. And then, of course, the next time 3 people come to me and say, wonderful and all that, again, they go back to forming the same ESG rules, the same ESG mandates, which never will work. I know that for sure. So, that is what this is. So, dharma is not about calling yourself something, but the overarching principle that exists, respecting that. If we respect that, it will respect us. Simple. So this is one part. What I now want to do is, I want to take a little off. Okay. What happened? Okay, we'll go back to where I was. Okay. Okay. There are a lot of people from the, I want you to think of this, okay. We have people from the medicine background, no, here? Medical sciences and medical, health sciences. Somebody from that part? Health science part? Nobody is there? Nobody teaches health science here? You teach? What do you teach? Chemistry. What? Will come. Yeah, think about it. I want those answers, but will come. Huh? Pascal triangles are also there. I didn't bring it, but yeah, that same, you can create a Meru. That's called Meru, by the way. Okay? Yes, that indexing and hash key is one of the examples. We'll come to that. I will show one more, and for those in the management so that they don't get bored. Okay? Kundalini Yoga. Okay? Everyone has heard of Kundalini Yoga, S-VYASA, so all of you must have gone to Jigni campus and done something around it. No? Okay. What is the Kundalini Yoga? Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. I should walk from here. The Kundalini Yoga says that, there are 7 energy centers, starting from Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agya, and then Sahasrara. Okay? So, your energies rise from each point, and at each point you will associate it with a physiological evolutionary state. It could be mentally, it could be materially, all these things. Okay? Then, once it reaches the Agya chakra, there are 2 possibilities. One, you can go back on this cycle, or you can transcend into the Sahasrara. Okay? All of you teaching management. How many of you teaching management here? All of you teaching management. Bring this to classroom. There is a very simple, straightforward application of this. Consumer consciousness, no. Because then you need to identify the other person's Kundalini. That doesn't happen. We'll come to it. Okay. Then psychology. Who is teaching psychology? Nobody is there teaching psychology? They're not there. Okay. But management also know this. No, there is... basically, this is what I said. There is a sensory input, that's basically all the 5 sense organs. Input goes to the mind, motor output. Right? Ahankara is triggered, then there is an output. Then there is a buddhi. Right? Where does it apply? Bring it to classroom. We'll start with that Pingala's, this one. You are saying something, no, about how do you put that stacking algorithm? Where is it used? Madam, you were saying something. What was that you said? Hash table.
We have to search any file or anything in the storage area, so we use hash table.
File allocation systems, yes. File allocation, file storage, file retrieval, indexing. That's blockchain. No, not this one, because blockchain will require you to have a history.
Digital clocks? Digital clocks.
Digital clocks will use exactly this file allocation tables. Key value pairs. Directory values, key value pairs. So when you are teaching these, bring this to classroom. Say this algorithm exists, we are only implementing it today. Simple thing, not very complicated. There are many things like this. Only thing is how you make the connection is very important. That's why for Vinay it will be very difficult to come down and say this is where it is applicable, because he will not be very conversant with a whole idea of key value pairs or doing computer stacking. File allocation is not something his forte. He does not even know how the file allocation happens. Somebody who knows file allocation, seeing this, should immediately say, yes, this is how file allocation is done. There's another, what is called Chandas Shastra. The whole of Chandas Shastra is binary codes. Music comes from this binary codes. You can do enough work on that. Algorithms, if somebody has to be strong with algorithms, just go by these. That is why rote learning was important for us. Naturally, memory allocation happens this way in our mind. It's very important that we learn them. Okay? So this is another one. I will now start taking answers. Okay. Ayurveda. So Ayurveda says, I am sure everyone has heard of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. right? Vata, Pitta, Kapha, the concept is if you have Vata, that means you are the body, Pancha Mahabhutas, basically the air, fire, earth, space, water. That's what. The predominant of that in Vata is air and space. Vata type of body. Predominant in a Pitta type of body is Agni and water. In a Kapha type of body is water and earth. Gross matter. See, the problem is translation. I don't like this translation. You know, Akasha, Agni, Ap, Tejas, Vayu. Right? Akasha is space. The way we define space looking at sky is not what it means. For instance, Agni. Let's take Agni. Agni is the most abused one. What is Agni? Fire. Right? There is something called Jatar Agni. Do you translate it to fire in the belly?
They do actually. Do that.
That's wrong, right? There is no fire. Agni is technically a thermodynamic process. We should define it as a heat generation or work creation process. That's what Agni is. Sun has Agni. That's a fission reaction happening there. This is where our problem is in translation. If you lose out the main Mula Bhuta of what you are learning, we lose out to translators who do a very, very horrible job with it. Agni is nothing but a thermodynamic process. In a thermodynamic process, three things can happen. Either you can create something fluid, that is either air or in a form of liquid or air. It need not necessarily be only, some form of air. Carbon dioxide plus something can come. The other thing is a liquid. Liquid can be water or some form of flowing material. Thermodynamic process, you heat lead, it will get liquid lead. That will also be called Apu. Or it can also transform into an oxide. Gross matter. Prithvi is gross matter and not earth. How you do that, that's where translations become problem. Okay, so our body is 70% water, we all know that, right? So, if this is the composition, how many of you have heard of this term ectomorphs, mesomorphs, ectomorphs? These are the three ways Carl Jung put out his thesis on. He got the whole thing wrong. Limiting case. It was just a limiting case because he could not understand what this will come to, what a thin body type will be. Allopathic medicine fails because of this. It gives you symptomatic cure. I'm not saying it is bad. It's good to take symptomatic cure. It will not give you the causal cure. Root cause analysis is not done. This is the Carl Jung's body types, ectomorphs, mesomorphs, endomorphs. He took exactly, I don't have the problem in telling that he stole from it. He stole from Ayurveda, could not understand it in full, so he just said, thin body type is Vata, probably a bulky type is Kapha, and somewhere in between is Pitta. That's all, that's where it ended, and all that then the lot of mind analysis went on around it. Animus, anime, and all those things came up. Right? Similarly, Sigmund Freud. Okay, Kundalini Yoga. Let's talk Kundalini Yoga. You gave that Maslow's law. The problem with Maslow's law, do you understand the problem with Maslow's law? Anybody who says Maslow's law is perfect? Is this right? Any questions on Maslow? Okay, who does not? How many of you don't know Maslow's law? I've never heard of Maslow's law. I know a lot of people have not. Management students would have. You have not heard. None of you have not heard. Maslow's law. Maslow's law. Maslow's law of hierarchy. Don't know. Yes. Engineering students never know Maslow's law. I know that because I was an engineer. I never knew this. I only came to know. I read that and then came to this. So, Maslow's law states every human being has some basic needs. Once you attain those basic needs, these basic needs are like safety, security, food, water, clothing, shelter. Once you attain that, then there comes some psychological needs. Basically, you need to be loved, you need to be cared for, you need to be living with people, so on and so forth. If you have attained these two, then you go on to what he calls self-actualize. Now this self-actualize is a very scary term, because he confuses self-actualization with material gain. In Maslow's law, if you look at it, it's a pyramid structure. Unlike here, which goes in a cycle, it's a cyclic structure, it's a pyramid structure. The pyramid structure means there are very few people who can actually self-actualize. Now, does it mean if I have to self-actualize, I have to be rich? That's one of the conclusions I draw from here. Poor people cannot self-actualize. It's a fallacy. And
Actualization can be anything.
exactly, that self-actualization is self-defined. That means this space is infinite. This is not a tip. What do you do from this point? If you're not self-actualizing, what are you doing? If you have reached all the tip of it, that's where all the CEOs who have earned billions of dollars struggle. Because you're following that, you don't know what to do with that $1 billion. They think that is self-actualization. If you had really read Kundalini Yoga, had spent more time with Kundalini Yoga, probably practiced it, you would have understood there is a path. And this is path dependent. This path can take you down, it can take you up. And this is universal. This is bucketing. Maslow, for all his brilliance, is a limiting case. This is a limiting case of Kundalini Yoga. So whenever you are teaching Maslow's law, probably bring this to the classroom. Say this is a limiting case. Say that there are challenges with it. These are simple things that can be done. Right? Okay. Manas Buddhi Ahankara. Our great friend Sigmund Freud. Id, ego, superego. We have heard this terms? Id, ego, superego. Id is that, sensory pleasure, instinctive behavior. Superego, hey, no, don't do this. There is something going on. This may not be right. You need to follow this. Converse, then you make a decision. The ego makes the decision. Social experiments. This is borrowed from here. He got it again. Limiting case. Because Manas, of course, okay, I should tell this story. Do you know why Sigmund Freud brought up this whole thing, by the way? He took it from here. But why did he stop? He was a brilliant fellow. He was a very intelligent fellow. It's not like he didn't. Who hired Sigmund Freud? Sigmund Freud was hired by corporates in the 20s and 30s. First task that was given to him was get women to smoke. Change their mindset. Women were not naturally adept to smoking. How do you capture women's mind to smoke? What brings about women's mind to smoke? That was the task given to him. He used this. He took this whole thing, understood that there is a lot of manas involved in their psychology, brought a lot of sexual aspects to it, and translated it into a $1 billion business. That transformation led to many more contracts for him, where he applied this theory into what he called mind capture, interpretation of my dreams. For us, there is beyond this, there is what is called Jagrat Swapna Sushupti. Have you heard of it, terms? Okay. Simple state, we are all in the Jagrat state. Some of us are in the sleepy state, semi-sleepy state. But if you are waking, that's the wakeful state. You can be you can be sleeping in deep sleep. Right? That is called Sushupti. Nobody can say, I am in Sushupti. Can anybody make that statement? I am sleeping. Anybody who's made that statement, I am sleeping? You can never make that statement, I am sleeping. Right? You can only say, I had a good sleep. Can I make a statement, I am dreaming? No? You cannot make that. Okay, before that. No, while sleep. I am not talking of day, not thoughts going haywire. While sleeping, how many of you think, okay, is your dream real or unreal? Huh? Unreal. How many think it's unreal? Raise your hands.
Not always. It's not always.
Okay, those who think it is real, raise your hands.
What we think about is a dream.
Huh?
What we think, that comes in the dream.
Okay. So that's what. Is it real? Is it unreal?
Real. It's real. I think.
Okay. What is real then? What is the definition of real?
Something you think at that point of time is actually happening.
It's actually happening. Is it happening? Okay.
In that consciousness, yes.
Let me ask you a question then. Okay. Let us say somebody stole 10,000 rupees from you in your dream. Can you go to the police station and report?
No.
Why? It's real, no?
It's not really conscious.
Thought about it.
Huh?
Thought will correct.
You can do that. Let me tell you, you can do that. In your dream, you can go to the police station and report, no?
So at
See?
that point of time, in that consciousness, I
So, essentially, dream is a very tricky state. As he said, it's about something that we have thought. It's something in your experience. Something in the subconscious. You want to study the subconscious, you have to talk about your dream. His whole interpretation of dream is based on that, but the subconscious study is very deep in all our Shastras. It does not say, as Vinayak said, there is nothing called management, psychology, etc., etc., etc. Krishna and Arjuna are the best examples. In fact, one Greek psychologist told me this. He had this whole he was a staunch Christian who had the Bhagavad Gita, that whole depiction of Arjuna, Krishna, chariot in his office. So I once randomly asked him, why do you have that? I thought he had come to India, somebody had given him. He said, no, that is my guru. That is the role model. I asked him how. He gave me a very strong perspective. If somebody is so depressed at a state that who is not willing to do anything, and within a short span of time, if you can change him 180 degree, make him take a 180 degree U-turn, is he not the best psychologist ever to have been born here? I can't do it in 6 months. That is the power of that Bhagavad Gita. And as he said, there is only one, hey you fool. In fact, the words he uses are extremely powerful. Klaibyam masmadagav partha. Klaibyam is eunuch. Hey, you get up and fight. What the hell are you doing? That's the end of, that should be the end of it. That was the only objective. But he did not understand, so he had to give a lot of elaboration. Right? That is the power of Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. That is the kind of psychological message that comes about. Okay? So psychology is very deeply studied in all our Shastras. How do you teach? Is the student understanding? There's a lot of strong connect between the student and the teacher. You might have kept your eyes closed. The teacher knows who is understood, who has not understood, who is assimilating, whose thoughts are wandering. Very clearly mapped out. That is something we have lost out. In Gurukula, what you had asked. That is the thing which is lost. We were to really go. Okay? So, how much more time do I have? Because this is a topic I can go on for. Huh?
3 was the time given.
5-10 minutes? Shall we wind up in 5-10 minutes? Okay. Okay, I'll skip all this Chaturvarnyam and all, I'll skip.
So I have 2 questions.
Yeah, please. Yeah, probably we can discuss questions. I'll finish one slide and then we'll do that, okay? So how do you bring, the point was, how do we bring pedagogy to classroom? IKS pedagogy to classroom. That is the question, right? I showed you some ways linked to your subject. There are a lot of things available in your own subject which were there in our Shastras, which are there. Take this book, it will help you significantly. I've given 2 books to your library. You can always look it up and take a look at it. Connect between what you are teaching, see if there is something available, immediately bring it to the classroom. That is one way of doing it. Straightforward. Encourage discussions. If the students disagree, you can always encourage it and bring it up. Dedicated courses on IKS, that's what I was telling the dean as well. If you want to develop dedicated courses, There's a level of hard work and dedication that needs to go in from your end. How many of you want to take up IKS and think IKS is worth doing? Is it worth spending time on? Or as he said, it's a waste of my time, I don't need to do anything. You want to spend time. If you want to spend time, take a dedicated topic. Go deep in it. So that, and don't offer the course until you are thorough with it. If you are not convinced what you are talking, there is no way you will convince your students. Very, very important. Today, at least I walk into a lot of cold classrooms. I know what 22-year-olds think or 22-year-olds think, MBA classrooms. Who the hell are you? Is the first, I can read the mind, I can see them shouting with their lips closed. Okay? At the end of 3 sessions, I know they have turned. At the end of first session, 90% have changed. And I have not had any dropouts in my class so far. To get to that, there is a lot of sadhana that you need to do. Take up topics, get deep in it. And as he said, Sanskritam cannot go to IKS. IKS people have to come to Sanskritam. Learn a bit of Sanskritam. It is important. It's a very, very structured and a beautiful language. If you want, I have myself done enough courses on, I have my YouTube full sessions are there, 50, 100 sessions are there where you can just play in Sanskritam. If you want to learn, that is good enough. You want to learn beyond that, Soumya Krishnapur does a lot of it, you can learn from there. Okay? There are about 100 sessions of 1.5 hours each I have done just on Sanskrit, teaching Sanskrit. Very structured, very beautifully, you can go. Today you have enough tools that will tell you what the meaning of a word is, how to derive, what to do, etc. Okay? Learn a bit of it. If you want to do deep, please learn. Then start reading. You will not understand. You will not understand, it's all right. Go to somebody and ask what it is. Don't feel bad to ask. Then call people like Vinayak. People like me who will give you subject matter expertise. Once you do that, then you are thorough. Then you can say, hey, you can counter the student because they'll come with what is called, okay, here's a question. How many types of debates can be done? What is the point of a debate? Is it positive and negative side? Not necessarily. It need not be positive and negative. For and against. Okay. There are 17 reasons to do a debate. Our Shastras say that. There is a simple Vada, Vitanda, Jalpa. How many of you heard of filibusters? Filibuster. Nobody has heard of filibuster? US Congress, it's very common. What they do is if they don't want a bill to be passed, they'll just stand up and start speaking. They'll not stop. That is called Jalpa. The reason to debate can be multiple. First it can be just to establish what is right, what is true. Second, it can be just to prove your point. Third, it can be to win over the opponent. Fourth, it can be just to cut down somebody. Any number of reasons. And you will see everything in students. They'll do all sorts of things. To counter that, you should be thorough. What is called Purva Paksha. Your Purva Paksha should be thorough. Okay. So if you want to offer a course, take time, take 6 months, go through it in thorough. Say that, okay, these are the topics, this is what I will talk, and this is how it will be applied to. Motivate students enough to take it. Here there are 2 parts to it. One is the content. Content creation is relatively easy because it's your effort. Content creation we all keep doing, no? It's very easy. That's not very difficult because it's only about me. As long as I work hard, I can create content. Delivery, format. Format needs to come down to students. I allow students to, in fact, submit assignment as reels. I don't have a problem with it. Format is not my problem. As long as they have learnt it, I have no problem. You want to dance and tell me what you are doing? Please. By all means, you are a good dancer. I love to see you dance. I don't have problems students submitting to me as a plain paper. As long as their Shraddha should be there. It can't be a, good for nothing. No, I'll be very stringent on that. I'll be grade you very carefully about it. But if I see Shraddha, I'll be very clear. I don't mind allowing you to do that. I am very strict in the class. You can't come in after 2 minutes. That's a given. While evaluating, I'll be careful. While setting you, I'll be very, very, very free. Use certain yardstick where you have a connect with the student. Stringency is important, but be flexible enough for your students to be accommodative. They should be able to accept you as a teacher. Respect. The third thing that is needed is capacity building. This will require research. Take up a topic and go deep in research and start collaborating. You are very wonderfully placed because in Jigni you have a good set of people who are working on certain things that are already known. Learn from them. They will not know the modern terminologies, they will not know modern things. Learn from them, it's okay. Once you learn, you will know where, this is where it comes from. This is what is the easiest way to apply. That's how I have brought a lot of things. Because unlike Vinayak, I come from a different background. I come from an engineering background and started doing with both of us have the same Guru, Mahadevan sir, and that's how we have gotten into it. Collaborate with people like Chanakya. That will help you. So this is my course. This is what I wanted to convey. I wanted to do sadhana, Anubandha Chatushtayam as well. But before that, probably I'll take the questions. We'll close with a few questions and Anubandha Chatushtayam, how to design a course. Yeah.
So I had one question was like, you showed me two theories. One was related to Freud's theory and one was need theory. My question is, we see so many published papers in ABDC A star. Why is there no critical papers considering these aspects, sir?
So post 1820, post the 1900s, it is the publishing house that decides what is to be done. So that's been cornered. There are gatekeepers in that. So they will not allow you. So it is like saying the framework, as he said, I'm force fitting a framework into the science framework today, which is not right. So what happens is, today if you have to publish a paper, the previous fellow is assumed to be right, whoever has published. You're not questioning that. Our framework is not that. We don't take it at face value. I can debate with you and establish that I am true. Okay, that framework is not acceptable so there are a lot of gatekeepers. It's not a conspiracy theory that exists. We know that. Read Rajiv Malhotra will tell you enough things on breaking India and other forces. So yes, and that's why it is very difficult to publish, and I wouldn't even go on that path. I will say create one IKS publication here and make sure that is there. That's all. I don't think, and in fact I would even go to the extent of saying, I've been telling a lot of universities, don't blindly go with Scopus A, Scopus B, journals and all. Dump it. Create your own scoring, create your own. Rigor is something I will not compromise on. Rigor should be there. But don't judge your people just based on that. As long as there is rigor, there is hard work, there is a lot of due diligence done, give people that credit. Put alternate systems in place that I've been always advocating.
I'm a marketing faculty.
Okay.
So where can I get these theories? I mean, if I have to teach, I have to get these IKS to my classrooms. Where can I?
So this book is one place for starting point.
In this I saw with consumer consciousness and I could relate something. But if I want more, where would I?
There is lot of it we can connect offline. Lot of it we can connect. I can give you, because I keep connecting. Because I come from a different background, connection is very easy. Now over the past 10-12 years I have spent enough time with IKS. So I can connect, as I give you 3 examples. If it was engineering or architecture students, I would have brought Lepakshi temple and showed them. And said connect. I can bring enough things on each topic that you want. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Final topic for 3 more minutes. How do you design a course? The framework to design a course, we were talking, he gave an 8-fold framework, no? And he said we should follow what is called, whenever, this is applicable to any course, it is not just IKS course. To anything that you do. In fact, this is a universal framework that can be applied to everything. This is what is called Anubandha Chatushtayam. This has 4 components. One is Vishaya, or the subject that you want to do. The context in which you come. Aptitude versus attitude issues. High aptitude, I know everything. Horrible in attitude. I don't care whether you are there in the class or not. how do you make sure? See, I always used to have I would always respect the teacher, but I would always question. That, as I said, that respect for the teacher is a systemic constraint. Teaching is a tradition. Commanding respect is a given. You can't be in a classroom if nobody is respecting you. Okay? Misuse of that knowledge, abuse of that knowledge can happen. Please put those things in place. Then of course there should be punishment strategies. That is basically somebody is copying, somebody has brought something from ChatGPT. Are you allowing ChatGPT? I give what are called take-home exams. And I'm happy because first time they love it. Once they take it home, then they realize what they have gotten themselves into. So create something that will be very strong and they are learning. My objective is they are learning. I don't care how many marks, whether they are doing well. I'll be very liberal in correction. I'll be very liberal in doing things. But as long as they have showed me that they have learned and they have come to a particular place, I'm good enough. Okay. Then course objective should be very, very important. You should see the objective well. Course objective is from the teacher's perspective. Learning outcomes is from the student's perspective. When you're putting learning outcomes, you should always have the student's interest in mind. Course objective, you should have your interest in mind. Put both the things should be balanced, and this is what should be done. With this, I will stop. Any questions, any thoughts, please feel free to express. Any thoughts? What do you think? Was it a waste of time? Probably sleeping was better. No? Okay.
Something, got to know something.
Okay. Any thoughts, anything that we should do next? Any other things that we should? Any takeaways? Any questions? No? What do you teach?
CS, sir.
Huh?
CS, computer science.
CS. What do you teach in computer science?
Software testing, quality assurance.
Huh?
Software testing, quality assurance.
Quality assurance, QA. You come from Six Sigma background? Six Sigma background?
Six Sigma?
No. You don't teach Six Sigma. Okay. What do you people teach? Chemistry. Huh? Chemistry. You? Computer science. Computer science. Chemistry, I could have brought some, okay. Metallurgy of lead. Do you know how it came about? That you should bring to the classroom.
Extraction of,
Huh?
extraction of lead.
Lead, yeah. Zinc. Let's not say lead, zinc. How is the exact extraction of lead, zinc done? No. Zinc extraction. You don't teach inorganic chemistry or organic?
It's always physical types.
Physical chemistry, okay. Anybody teaching inorganic, metallurgy? Nobody? Read about zinc extraction. That came about only from India. You know the problem with zinc? It has a 5-degree window between melting point and boiling point. Within that you have to extract the entire thing out. Inverted hearth furnace. That came from India. How do you do the heat transfer? That exothermic reaction to be controlled. So what are the temperature, that all that TD diagrams that you draw? Good. Nice. All of you are management?
Not us. Computers and management.
Computer science and management. Okay, all right.
Psychology now.
Psychology, you are there.
Has this thing for psychology.
Yeah. What do you teach in psychology?
Right now I'm teaching research methods.
Research methods. Okay, what about consciousness studies? Anybody teaching consciousness?
Yeah, because psychoanalysis, it comes under the...
Nice. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, any of the questions?
Okay.
So we had come to the last part. For all of us have gained a lot of knowledge on Indian knowledge system. Thank you so much for giving us a lot of the inputs We are anyhow we have planned to go ahead with the IKS in all the courses. So probably the input whatever Mr. Karthik sir has shared with us, definitely it is very helpful for us, all of us, so that we can take the journey in the next steps. So one thing is like any of the department, if they are planning for adopting IKS, maybe on one of the concept or whatever it might be, I request sir to guide. So thank you so much. On behalf of entire S-VYASA, I thank Mr. Karthik sir for delivering a wonderful interactive session. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.